Hi, I'm Mayan.
Hi, I'm Forrest.
I'm Mitchell.
Hi, I'm Layla.
I'm Brandon.
I'm you.
And we are the Refugee Council of Egypt. And today we're going to be discussing security forces around Egypt for Syrian refugees.
Hey, I'm Forrest. I'm going to be talking about events right now. The Muslim Brotherhood made many efforts to accommodate refugees within the state. So much so that Amnesty International was told by refugees at the time that they felt very safe under Morsi's control. However, the Brotherhood in Morsi fell, and the Egyptian media outlets started painting Syrian refugees in a very dark light. At one point, it was so bad that the animosity sparked, and an Egyptian commentator threatened to burn down the houses of every Morsi and Muslim Brotherhood supporter. And now with the current government in place, which was very anti-Muslim Brotherhood and very anti-Morsi, the Syrians are now being struck at their hearts and are being assaulted in streets, their houses being vandalized. They have lost their jobs, they have lost their businesses that they've tried to start. And the interim government has gone so far to close its borders to the refugees. They're no longer allowing people in, and they're detaining any of those who protest against the current policies in place. Deportation is starting to become prevalent within the nation, as many refugees are being forced to leave the nation. Those who try to leave on their own, however, are subject to arrest and even violence like that of the two that were killed last month while on a ship to Italy. Due to all these events, many different methods can be used to try to solve this crisis, because this is a really bad way of all these different things happening. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Layla Yu, and I will be discussing youth Syrian refugees as well as Syrian refugees being detained in Egypt currently. So on October 17th, Amnesty International released an article talking about how refugees are being detained and also deported in Egypt, and this is unlawful. And so they basically want to get their voice out there and spread this issue as much as they can all around the world, and I think Refugee Council of Egypt should also follow in their footsteps, because the media is a huge outlet for these issues being announced, and also for perspectives of people's perspectives to also change and see different views and real life issues that are currently happening on site. So Amnesty International also scoped out a prison in Egypt, and they discovered that 40 Syrian refugees were being detained there. Among those 40 Syrian refugees, 10 were children, and the youngest of those 10 children were actually 1-year-old twins. So many Syrian refugees, Syrian refugees, are also being detained and kept away from their families. A 9-year-old boy who was caught on a boat, he was arrested and he was denied access from his parents for 4 days. Along with current issues with Syrian children, many young girls are also being sold by their families for as little as equivalent of $75, just because there is no way for Syrian refugees to get money. And so that is and also Egyptian men are also very desperate for marriage at this current moment, and they're definitely targeting Syrian women. And another current issue that's going on is about how to take care of the Syrian children as well, with an education and just how a stable environment for them to live in. And so in 6th October, which is a middle-class suburban area surrounding the outskirts of Cairo, a woman named Nadia El-Bana, who was a former agricultural engineer, she quit her job, she retired, and she actually hosts her home to Syrian refugees, and she teaches Syrian teenagers Arabic, and she hosts single mothers and families who are in need, because current camps in Egypt aren't even sustainable and aren't adequate for these Syrian refugees anymore. And so she gathers food and donations for them. She tracks their cases from the UN High Commissioner for Refugees and tries to help them day by day. And she's also stated how even the food stamps that some of these refugees have gotten are not even enough for the current amount that they need to buy an adequate amount of food. So all in all, I really think the media has a huge impact on the way that these issues are addressed, and also the perspectives of people also definitely need to be changed, not just around the world, but also within Egypt itself, and Egyptians themselves need to realize that they are there to help their neighbors, and they are there to need to help the Syrian refugees, not to detain them and not to deport them back to where they came from or to dump them in some other area. So, thank you.
Hi, my name's Brandon, and I'll be talking about military and government. In July of this year, Egypt's military removed the country's first democratically elected president, Mohamed Morsi, suspended the constitution, and installed an interim government. The ousting of Morsi, like the ousting of his unelected predecessor, was met with celebration by many. Having won his presidency by a narrow margin, the year before, critics were supported when accusing Morsi of breaking the promises he made to the Egyptian people. The criticism, along with shortages of electricity and fuel, caused the general population's anger with the government to reach great enough lengths that a coup could take place without great opposition. There was, of course, opposition from Morsi's Islamist supporters, such as the Muslim Brotherhood. In these last 4 months, the military's interim government has demonized them in the media, along with anyone or group that is associated with them. Syrian refugees, for example, have come under attack because of Morsi's openness to them. Morsi said days before the military coup, "We will do all we can to ensure the liberation of the Syrian people." Syrian refugees were among those protesting the coup. This resulted in their being demonized by the media. Propaganda, however, has, as of late, not satisfied military leaders who have taken up the Muslim Brotherhood crackdown. In a move that shows their fear of insubordination of soldiers, and is in itself great hypocrisy, the military has started a propaganda campaign that attempts to persuade soldiers into thinking that they have a religious duty to obey orders to use deadly force against Morsi supporters. The hypocrisy being that such propaganda completely contradicts one of the military-controlled government's key stances, a government without religious rule, which was also a justification for the ousting of Morsi and the suspending of the constitution that Morsi and his Islamist allies passed last year. Military leaders are worried about their troops' insubordination after soldiers have killed hundreds of their fellow Egyptians who are protesting the military takeover.
Hi, my name is Yu Kawashima, and I'll be talking about economic situation in Egypt, focusing on how Syrian refugees affect on the labor market in Egypt, and how do they earn money, and what kind of jobs do they have. And in Egypt, it is reported that there are 200,000 to 300,000 Syrian refugees. Until a couple of years ago, Egypt welcomed them. However, recently they started to change their attitude toward them, and they are hostile to them now. One of the reasons is that many Syrian refugees started to flow into the labor market in Egypt because they can work with lower wages than Egyptian people. They might steal jobs from them. And according to the World Bank, unemployment rate in Egypt is about 13% currently, and therefore even Egyptian people are struggling with getting stable jobs. In this situation, lots of refugees are forced to work with low wages and live in an insecure place. And moreover, there are many tragic cases. As a result of economic pressures, lots of young girls have got involved in forced marriages and the sex industry to earn money for their family. For instance, once a young girl was sent to the Egyptian man instead of 1,000 Egyptian pounds, it was 164 United States dollars. In addition to the money, the man provided her family with a secure furnished apartment. As more and more Syrian refugees come to Egypt, the number of forced marriage has been increasing because some Egyptian men take advantage of their economic difficulties. Unfortunately, some Syrian families compel their daughters to work in clubs as dancers or send them to prostitution. On the other hand, some Syrian refugees start their own job, own small business, such as Syrian food restaurant, food vendor, and cell phone, and successfully earn their money. And from these situations, I guess that there seems to be various types of refugees, and there is a huge economic gap among them.
Hi, I'm Mayan, and I'm going to be talking about healthcare. And the objective is health status of the population to be improved, and the second objective is the population has optimal access to reproductive health and HIV services supported. and they're asking for 10 million United States dollars required. And according to the Syria Regional Refugee Response, the Egyptian government needs a decision to allow Syrians in Egypt to access public health facilities and hospitals on equal terms with Egyptian nationals. The joint health sector strategy is predicted upon the principle of access to public health services as are available to the host population. To ensure this goal, the UNHCR and its partners are working to support Ministry of Health public system, especially the primary health facilities, through assessment and procurement of their equipments and supplies to make sure the staff is knowing how to use their equipments and how to sterilize and how to use it best for the refugees. The second is to expand capacity and geographic coverage of the primary healthcare and referral care for the Syrian patients, and improve the quality of healthcare services available to the Syrian refugees through capacity building of healthcare workers on reproductive health, and raise awareness among Syrians about availability and accessibility of public health services, taking special needs for children and women and other groups. And achievements to the dates is 19,000 visits to primary health care, including child health, 1,000 prenatal care visits, and 2,075 individuals benefited from mental health and psychosocial support. And the targets are 60,000 Syrian refugees have access to primary health services, 20,000 Syrian women of reproductive age have access to comprehensive reproductive health, 6,000 Syrian refugees referred are to secondary and tertiary health services, and 5,500 Syrian refugees benefit from mental health and psychological support. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mitchell, and I'm going to propose some solutions to the current refugee security crisis in Egypt. Clearly, improving Egyptian and Syrian relations would clear up a lot of these issues, but there are other ways of providing help to the refugees. Monetary aid to the refugee camps and surrounding allies could help keep refugees safe. The other main solution would be to balance the power in the current Egyptian power structure and to encourage the media to offer different perspectives on the crisis. Focusing on the media is the Refugee Council of Egypt's top priority. By following in the footsteps of Amnesty International, we need to enforce the current issues that occur within Egypt, giving different perspectives for not just the world, but for specifically the Egyptian people. The media sets the cultural norms and values, and with it, Egypt has completely swayed their people to hate Syrians within a matter of months. But by using the media to propose old perspectives and reconnect the two cultures, you can regain this unity and use it to enhance the value and emphasize peace between the two countries. Thanks for watching.